Hiya gang, come with me on a journey. Just on the way to my chess club, so let's have a chat, because I'm here for that. Just posted today, I think it's Sunday the 5th of September 2021, what an interesting times we live in. Just posted today about history, about watching Downton Abbey and how society was set up just 100 years ago, maybe even 80 years ago. Post and pre-Victorian era where we had that upstairs, downstairs society, us and them, the aristocracy, the elite families who ran the cabals. They weren't called cabals, they were called corporations, businesses across the world, families with influence. And you only have to watch Downton Abbey or anything from that era where the shipping companies and the mining companies and the big corporations that were just establishing themselves. And these elites used to travel to see other members of the family, and they married for wealth and acquisition. No change. So you need to watch that video because it's I'm revealing quite a lot of truths and talking about my Uncle Jack, who fought on the Somme, First World War stuff, where the officers who were the privileged, the entitled, used to tell the young lads from farmers and working stock to go over the front line, cannon fodder, and if they didn't, they'd shoot them. They did. And you know, if farmers got into debt, they used to put them into workhouses. And I mean, the attitude was, and you can watch it in the programs, I mean, it's glamorized in these programs, but it's far from glamorous. That's what's happening now. We live in, well, particularly in the West, in Europe, under the apprehension, the false perception that it's a democracy, the government are there for us, that they'll fight for us, protect us, keep us safe, look after our economy, invest in our futures for our children or our grandchildren. And the evidence of history, if you look, if you learn from history, which we rarely do because what we're being told is history is a lie, it's being rewritten, which is what's happening now. If you look at history, there's no change. We've maybe got more available to us. We are at the moment in 2021 the most knowledgeable, we've got more resources than we've ever had, more knowledge, more technology. We've got everything at our disposal, but it's not fairly distributed and it's not fairly available. In fact, it's not just not available, it's being withheld. Information's being withheld and history's being rewritten now, today. Boris Johnson has just got another 6 months of COVID regulations passed through Parliament. If that was a democracy, who agrees with that? Nobody I know thinks that's a good idea. Nobody thinks war's a good idea. Nobody thinks that sticking things into children's arms is a good idea. Very few people. You wouldn't think it was a good idea if you had the facts, not the assumed facts, the second-hand facts, or the facts that you're allowed to access. If you looked at all the facts on that subject and many others regarding health and will systems, British systems, legal systems, health systems, food systems, if you knew what was really going on in the food industry, in the health industry, in the financial industry, in the education industry, all these institutions that we think, because we're nice, that they're nice, no, we're being duped. As I say, Downton Abbey and all those other programmes, they hid it and made it glamorous, but it wasn't. War isn't glamorous. Life was hard. In Thailand, where I am currently, if you don't work, you don't eat. But luckily, it's a Buddhist philosophy here, and they share because they care. They make merit. The regime here is that if you give, you get. That they believe in karma, and I do. Not because of any theology or religious dogma, but that's the way the algorithm works. That's the way the bias of this dimension works, which is another subject. But I do know that living in fear gives you illness and sickness and disease, and living with pleasure and love and happiness and smiling makes you healthy emotionally, physically, mentally, keeps your spiritual connection. But there's not much of that about. All religion, which should be spiritual connection, is control. It's control of the masses, which is why the predominant faith of Catholicism, which spread across Europe out of Israel, was to control the people, church and state, to teach you what your place is. And you didn't have even free access to God. You had to go through the Pope or through a vicar, or none of that's true. Very little is true. It's all back to front. It's all inverted. So the answer is, as I'm driving to my chess club, which is a game of strategic fun and strategic, it's just a game of strategy, that we have to have a strategy. Because trust me, the opposition, the government, etymology to govern your mentality, are winning at the moment. And most people are following like sheep. And that's no disrespect to sheep or people, it's called social hypnosis, social engineering. It's gone on for centuries. But understand that it's gone on for centuries, and it's going on now more predominantly, and it's more obvious now. Because today, Boris Johnson, who's been saying for months, well, lots of lies, but the one thing he's consistently used to justify his lies is the science. But even the science now, he's saying that jabbing minors, children, the risks outweigh the benefits and shouldn't do it. And he's overruling that. What level of arrogance or entitlement gives him the permission to think he can get away with that? Well, it's you and me. Evil people win when good people do nothing. I'm paraphrasing a famous statement there of a lesson that we should have learnt before the Second World War, that evil people rise because good people do nothing. So if you're a good person, you can't do nothing at the moment, and if you don't think you can do anything, trust me, you can. You can pray. Substitute the word pray for think positively, and project a thought field, an intention of love and light and positivity and common sense and balance into this algorithm, into this projection. And when you talk about what you want, don't talk about what you don't want. In other words, don't moan and complain about what is, just share what you want to see. Change in the world that you want to see starts with you and me. The change in the world that you want to see starts with you and me. Not by moaning about what you don't want, because that just expands what you don't want, because you're actually mentioning what you don't want. It's talking about what you do want. When I have people who want to give up smoking or lose weight, they don't want to eat cream cakes, we don't mention in any hypnosis that, or any transactional analysis, CBT or counselling, that that they don't want that they don't like cream cakes. If you say an affirmation or a hypnotic suggestion that you want cream cakes, and you don't like cream cakes, I don't like cream cakes, I don't like smoking and cream cakes comes into your consciousness, and you want a cream cake or a fag. If you talk about what you do want, you want to be fit and healthy, you want to be vital, you want to be slim, you want to be energetic, you want to be healthy, you want clean fresh air and clean fresh lungs and clean fresh breath, and you want to save money, you want to spend your money more wisely. You don't even say I don't want to waste money on cigarettes, because you're using the word cigarettes. Talk about the goal that you want to get a better car, bigger television, television, to watch more bullshit from the British Bullshit Corporation. Talk about the holiday that you're saving up for and how you can have more holidays because you're not wasting money on cancer sticks, cigarettes. So as a hypnotist and a mental programmer, I never talk about what people don't want. Get off that subject. You know, if you're in a relationship and you don't want to get a divorce or split up, don't even consider it. Talk about what's going to make you friends, what you can do together that's going to make you laugh. Talk about how you can repair it. Don't talk about the problem. Counselling's problem based. It doesn't work. Get off the problem, talk about the solution. The solution to this shit show at the moment in the world is for good people to get off the bums and start talking about the bad stuff, and to shift the algorithm, to shift consciousness into what you want, and don't talk about what you don't want, and don't do what you don't want. You know, if you're told to have this and you don't want it, don't have it. If as a population we didn't follow social hypnosis and follow the guidance of people who have got their own interests at heart, then what are they going to do? There is this, I mentioned it so many times, it's so relevant, 100th monkey syndrome, critical mass, tipping point. That is 33% of any consciousness group, even monkeys, rats, birds, 33% are like-minded, then the other 67% get the message and follow the 33%. It's called critical mass, 100th monkey syndrome. It's a fact. And they don't even have to be within the same flock. There's this expression that birds together flock together. Well, who are you flocking together with? Are you flocking together with negative people? Because if you are, you know, that's contagious. Negativity is contagious. Anger is contagious. Sadness is contagious. Depression is contagious. If you keep looking at this stuff and talking to people who vibrate negativity, trust me, you'll be negative. Get away from them. Start to become your own hotspot, your own Wi-Fi hub, and radiate positivity and love, and get people on your wavelength. And stop following other people, even these people who represent authority, because they've got no authority over you. Mandates are not laws, and acts of parliament aren't laws either. They're just acting. They're acts. They're actors. There is sovereignty and human law and common law, and a lot of these current laws are actually mandates, and they're just acting and breaking these mandates and getting arrested, and whatever else happens to you, fined and going to court. They're all thrown out. Do your research. None of them are standing up in court. If you just decided that you weren't going to close your business, that you weren't going to do this, that you weren't going to do that, and don't allow public opinion, which is being controlled by MSM, the hypnotist in the room, the television, peer pressure and bullying, propaganda. to set your own agenda. And the way that you do it, in my opinion, I'm going to close with this, is by using a process that I call VAVA. And VAVA is VAVA. The first V is visualize. Visualize the world that you want to see as it comes from you and me. Create pictures and images in your mind of the person that you want to be, the life that you want to have and enjoy, doing the things that you want to do, having the things that you want to have, being the person that you want to be, and the world that you want to see. Create a mental movie, a mind map, a collage, and keep everything in your life beautiful to see, and clear your mind of all these negative images. If you've got a problem with that, we need a chat, because I can help you with that. So that's the first V, visualize. And then there's A in VAVA, and that's affirm. And affirm is the voice in your head. It's an affirmation, it's the thought, not expressed, it's a thought. Clear your thoughts of all negativity and fear, and switch off all this shit that's been spoken to you, and shift into positive vocabulary in your head. Have a kind voice, not an angry voice, not a depressed voice, not a self-destructive voice. Think kind thoughts, think positively. And again, if you want help with that, we need a chat. So that's VA, that's visualize and affirm. And then the third letter is a second V, which is verbalize. So verbalize is those thoughts in your head get expressed through words. Your words are vibrations. They're vibrating in your throat, and they are picked up by your eardrum and others. You're a transmitter and a receiver. You transmit with your voice and you receive with your ears. Change the channel. Stop talking about horrific things and talk about lovely things. Stop talking about what you don't want. Start talking about what you do want. Stop spreading doom and gloom and start spreading love and light and positivity. And make your actions consistent with your thoughts, your visualizations and your verbalizations. And then the last component of VAVA, VAVA, which is the second A, the fourth letter, is assume the role. Live the life that you want to live, irrespective of what you're being told to do. Whether you have to go off grid, or whether you just have to rebel, or whether you just have to mind your own business and do what you want. You are your own best expert. You know what's best for your life, your body. And if other people are controlling you, they've only got control over you if you do what they say. If you're being told to do something against your values, against your morals, that's going to damage you to keep a job, give the job up. Move away from this social circle or this corporate circle that doesn't have your values, beliefs and ethics and doesn't have your best interests. And then just stand back and witness what happens to them for being a sheep. Wish them well, send them love. Get out of that flock. Get out of that herd. Change your tribe. Assume the role of what you say you believe. It's no good saying you disagree with that or you agree with this, but then following what everybody else does who's got different opinions, and then saying, well, I had to because I'd have lost my job. I couldn't go into that shop. I can't do this. I can't do that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Have a different life. At least you'll have a life, and I won't say any more about that. At least you'll have a life. Visualize, affirm, verbalize, and assume the role. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Be loving and kind. Wish everybody well, but you are your own best expert, and tell everybody else to go to hell. With love. Do not be controlled. Control yourself. You are the master of your own mind. You are the master of your own life. Step into your power. Use VAVA. And if you want to understand more about that, as I say, we can have a chat, because I'm here to help. And it's so easy to just give in and comply. And like I said right at the beginning, and we learnt this First and Second World War, that evil wins when good people do nothing. And now's the time to decide which side you're on, and that's your strategy. That's my strategy, and that's what I'm sharing because I'm caring. I'm going to play chess now. On the chessboard, it's black and white pieces. And to me, this is black and white. That we're in a war, we're in a battle, we're in a conflict. And the people in this democracy, or this illusion of democracy that we thought had our back, don't. And you only have to watch the news today to see how people are telling lies on television. What they said they'd do, they're not doing. What they said they'd never do, they are doing. We've been led down the garden path, or we're following the science, but then when it doesn't suit them, we're not. And you only have to look at the interviews 2 years ago when they were saying, this isn't a problem, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. Now the rhetoric's completely changed. As I say, words are power. Thoughts create things. These people are thinking and talking in a way that, to me, is so abhorrent, so evil, so dark, so damaging. 2021, 2020, 2022, we're going to end up with a completely different society in 2022, and it's up to me and you. Be powerful, use VAR, visualise, affirm, verbalise and assume the role powerfully. You are your own best expert. Got to realise, surely you understand by now, that none of this is right. It's not going in the right direction. And if you realise that it's not right, then you owe it to yourself, your kids and future generations to take up the fight. And the way that you do that is metaphysically, in my opinion, and that's what I'm all about. Be powerful, enjoy your mind. God bless.